Meanwhile, the race for the White House is a knockdown, drag-out fight to the finish with candidates going toe-to-toe on the trail until the voters' final election decision in 4 days. And we're keeping score each week here in the title boxing ring with former prize fighter and political analyst Rocky Rollins, now known as Ed Rollins, who runs the pro-Trump Super PAC Great America.
Thank you.
Good morning to you. Ed, 2 weeks ago, we were here in the ring. And what did you think Donald Trump's chances of becoming president were 2 weeks ago?
Not anywhere near as good as I do today. I thought at that point in time it was possible, but not probable. Today it's very, very possible.
Very, very possible. What changed?
Well, what changed? I mean, this started out as sort of a Marcus of Queensberry rules with boxing gloves. It has basically moved now to baseball bats and rocks and stones, and he's a much better street fighter. And equally as important, she's a woman who two-thirds of the country don't think are honest. All the discussions the last week, 10 days, have been about her integrity.
Indeed. All right, we'll know for sure on Wednesday morning. In the meantime, let's take a look at some of the sound bites from this week. First up, Hillary versus Donald Trump on disgracing democracy. Who wins? Watch this.
Donald Trump is doing his best to confuse, mislead, and discourage the American people. I mean, he's such a downer, right? And it's time for him to stop fear-mongering, stop distracting from what's really at stake, and frankly, stop disgracing our democracy. We can't let him get away with it.
I will continue to address and expose the criminal corruption of Hillary Clinton and its threat to the survival of our democracy. But I also want to spend these next 9 days with the wonderful people of this country talking about my vision for making America great again. And let's talk positive.
All right, round one, Ed, goes to?
Trump easily. She talks about misleading the American public. She and her husband have been the ones misleading the American public for a 20-year period. And my sense is that's what this week was all about. As I said earlier, two-thirds of the country don't think she's honest. Obviously, the FBI investigations or what have you, just sort of reinforcing that.
Sure. Okay, next soundbite round. Hillary versus Trump with their best attack lines.
You know, it's not okay to insult people. It's not okay. He calls women ugly, disgusting, nasty all the time. He calls women pigs, rates bodies on a scale from 1 to 10. The bottom line is he thinks belittling women makes him a bigger man. And I don't think there's a woman anywhere who doesn't know what that feels like.
She wants to blame everyone else for her mounting legal troubles, but she has really no one else to blame but herself. Hillary is the one who set up an illegal private email server to shield her criminal activity. Hillary is the one who lied so many times to Congress and to the FBI. 39 times to the FBI. It was Hillary who destroyed 33,000 emails after receiving a subpoena from the United States Congress.
All right, Ed, round two goes to?
Again to Trump. This may be her best line of attack. I mean, Donald Trump has been insensitive from time to time in his lifetime. She's been dishonest, and I think the choice of being, you want someone who's insensitive every so often versus someone who's habitually dishonest and lies to Congress and what have you. I think it's a pretty easy choice.
All right, final soundbite. Okay. Hillary versus Trump, their closing arguments.
Just think about what we can accomplish. We're going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. We're going to rebuild our military and take care of our great veterans. We will save the Second Amendment, which is under siege. And we will appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Hillary has been there for 30 years, and she's accomplished nothing. She's a candidate of yesterday, and we are the movement of the future.
Stand up for what we can do together, because that's what this election ultimately comes down to. It's about our future. It's about who we are as a country. I will wake up every day in that White House trying to figure out what I can do to help you and you and you. America's best days are still ahead of us. Don't buy into that dark, pessimistic vision. We're going to build the future we want together, and we're going to prove once and for all that love trumps hate.
Okay, final round is...
I'm going to call this one even. Both of them are making their strong closing remarks. It's kind of a charitable throw to her, but at the end of the day, you know, it was her best message of the three.
Okay, so here we are 4 days out. You see it.
I see Trump edging this thing out. I think he's got the momentum. I think the argument when people walk in the voting booth, again, you want someone who's been insensitive, you want someone who's been a successful business person, someone who's a change agent, versus someone who basically has a long history of basically being dishonest.
You've been doing this for a very long time. Is there a possibility there could be a landslide involved here?
There's a momentum going towards him. I mean, I think she could squeak it out still, but I think the momentum is coming to him, and I think people are going to make up their minds this weekend, those who haven't already, and I think it could tip to him. It's very much like Reagan in 1980. Reagan basically was very close going in and became you know, 10-point victory in a 44-state landslide.
All right. Ed, it has been a pleasure
Thank you.
having
My
you
pleasure.
around.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
You're in the ring. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excellent analysis.